Hey guys, and welcome back to the Ginger Realtor Show. It is Talking Point Tuesday, and I'm delighted today to have with me Eddie Lai. Eddie is with Waypoint Property Inspections, and they're right here in Hillsborough County. Eddie, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having me, Gavin. I'm excited to be here.
My pleasure. Okay, so look, one of the most important parts of buying a house, apart from the mortgage and finding the right house and making sure the title's clean, is the home inspection, especially in a flipped house, I find. What you want to do is you want to find all the dirty little secrets that a house has, and Eddie is your guy. Eddie, tell me why a home inspection is important.
Well, thank you so much for the opportunity, Gavin. One of the things that we like to pride ourselves on with Waypoint is with the inspection, we're really looking for what we call mainly the five material items that we need to look at for a home inspection, which is stuff that's going to impact the insurance uh, ability, which is the 4 points, which is the electrical, the HVAC, the air conditioning and the heating, the plumbing, and the roof. Right now, as we all know, with insurance with the state of Florida, it's really in a state of flux right now as to who will insure and who will not insure. And Citizens has now become our biggest insurer for the state. The last thing that we look for in the home is the material defects such as moisture in the home. Anything that can prevent that can help you prevent moisture will be the key to the success of a home purchase. A lot of folks have to realize that a home purchase is probably the biggest purchase they're going to make in their lifetime. And we're here to help identify things that may be a concern for them in regards to electrical, plumbing, HVAC, or roofing itself. And again, right now with the state of insurance, there's a lot of insurance companies right now that are dictating when a roof needs to be replaced. There is a program out there right now for homeowners that can look into to shore up their home for opening protections such as shutters or windows or even new roof or even the roof to wall connection called My Safe Florida Home. And this is something that I've used as well. But in regards to a home inspection, why you should have it, especially like you talked about, Gavin, with a flipped home, is that just because it's pretty outside doesn't mean that the guts of the home is pretty inside as well. We've come across a lot of homes where, especially in the Tampa area and in older neighborhoods such as Seminole Heights, where it does look really nice, and we've had some homes had some foundations looked at or repaired, but there's still some more significant damages that could be potentially a concern for the home buyer itself. So
Thank you.
you want to get yourself a home inspector that knows the area and knows the concerns based upon the age of the home as well.
No, it's I think it's vital, especially in areas like we have here. I know it's not so sinkholey down here in the Tampa area, but I know throughout the state, and it's kind of an issue. And I know for the most part, Florida's just a one big swampy mess. The moisture in a home can be a huge problem. But I think I was very lucky as a younger realtor working in New Jersey. I was introduced to a large investing group, and through that, I was able to meet one of my favorite home inspectors in New Jersey to work with, who was a structural engineer on top of that, and he was able to teach me spot things to look for when I'm going around a flip. I'm pretty good at judging a lipstick on a pig versus a really well done flip. So
Yes.
for the home buyers out there who aren't quite sure what the warning signs to look for are, if you were going into we'll go into a flip. What are you looking for first and foremost that maybe an investor's trying to hide?
That's a good question that you have, Gavin. There is so many things that we look at, especially if the house has a crawl space. There are some times where sometimes they s- they enclose the crawl space and then you don't have access to it. So that is a concern. Some of the other concerns is in regards to plumbing. Any homes that have plumbing that's older than 30 years should probably have some type of sewer camera, which we actually do performed to just take a look at the plumbing itself and see how it's drained. I was in the area when I was doing home inspections way back when we had the crashes back in 2008, where some of the folks don't realize that, homes were in distress during that time frame per se, and homeowners that had to leave in distress didn't like having to leave, so they would do certain things to it, such as some of them had poured down, believe it or not, concrete down the drain lines. So after a while, they would be clogged up. So again, it's just a matter of getting somebody out there, whether it's Waypoint or another reputable company. I ask that everybody use a reputable company that's licensed, bonded, and insured. And we have the minimum $1 million policy in Arizona Mission to help protect us and our clients as well. But in regards to things to look at, is was the electrical ever updated? The other thing too is we will look at permits like for the roof to see if there's any newer roof permits, because sometimes they may say there's a newer roof, but then it could be a roof over, which means that they've added a second layer of roofing. And then down in Florida, that still does not allow your roof to last as long as it should based on the manufacturer's specifications.
So let me ask you a question. So first off, if you're looking for a home inspection, not other reputable companies, Waypoint. For the sake of this video, it's all about Eddie and Waypoint, okay?
Thank you.
Secondly, the question about roofs, obviously from an insurance point of view, it's a really hot topic issue right now. When it comes to inspecting a roof, do you guys literally get on the ladders and go up and take a look on the roof itself? Are you sending a drone up to take video footage? How do you do your inspections?
That's a very good question. It really depends on the roof itself, Gavin. If we can access the second tier roof from the first tier, we will get up on the roof if it's safe to do so. If it's because of rain, we may not be able to get on the roof, but we'll come back to it. But the majority of the times, we like to walk the roofs, Gavin, because we like to see, the defects that we possibly could come across, whether it's a loose shingle or a valley that's not sealed properly, or even brand new roofs. I was just at a new construction home where they had a new roof installed, and the builder did not install 3 of the roof vents that were framed for. So the home was framed for 3 roof vents on one side of the house, and they didn't install the vents. So that would not allow for proper ventilation within the attic structure itself.
No,
But
with a lack of airflow, you're going to be talking about moisture in that roof. You're talking about mold. Look, that's why even with a brand new home, we have a lot of new construction here in Hillsborough County, whether it's Lennar, whether it's any of those companies, and they all make really nice looking homes. But ultimately, they're making the homes to maximize their profit. So they're not necessarily finding high quality craftsmen. And I'm not detracting from the quality of the homes. I need to make that certain. But even with a brand new home, your first owner, you're the first person to unlock the car, get it inspected, because you'd be shocked at how many corners might get cut. Just because you have a reputable construction company doesn't mean that Jimmy, who was having a bad day and wanted to go home early, didn't bypass a couple of things so he can get home at 2 o'clock. So you need to make sure you're checking and inspecting brand new homes, resale homes, like every home purchase should come with an inspection.
Yes, and I totally agree there, Gavin, because I just did one last Friday. I completed a home inspection on a brand new home with a reputable builder and whatnot. And I did just tell the construction manager, I'm just another set of eyes for you to make sure that the contractors that you had the subcontractors that you use are doing their job efficiently as possible. And again, in that home, it didn't have the roof vents that were framed in that area. And then and again, even the buyer had told me, well, should it be framed? I said, well, I would need to look at the plans first of all, but then on the other hand, if the home to the left of you and the home to the right of you, which is the same model, has roof vents going down both sides of the home, it would be safe to assume that you should have had roof vents on both sides of the home as well. Sometimes it's all dependent upon, when things were done. Was it 5 o'clock before the roofer had left. We're just there for another set of eyes for the builders as well. We're not there to say, you know what, they did this wrong or they did that wrong.
No, and
It's just, this is
I
just, it just wasn't there.
I agree with you. We all have off days, and the last thing you want is that builders or that tradesman's off day to impact your home.
Yes.
Now look, from a real estate perspective, we're expecting things to get quite busy this year. And during the last really busy period, 2021, 2022, all things got thrown out the window. And the one thing I will say is never let the thing that you're going to throw out the window be the home inspection. Purely, look, you can say that we're not going to ask for anything off the home inspection and it's for information purposes only, but do the home inspection. I've seen so many deals or so many buyers during that 2020-21 who didn't listen to me, who decided to waive the home inspection, and damn right I got that in writing that they'd been advised to have it because they didn't want to miss out on the deal. Who then called me to speak with, to reach out to me to ask me if I knew any tradesmen because X has gone wrong or this doesn't work. And so from even if it's just a basic home inspection, get the 4 points to make sure everything's working, get it done.
Yeah, and I would agree with you because of the fact that it is the most significant investment that you're ever going to have in your lifetime. And getting the home inspection is just to help you identify some areas of concern, especially right now, again, with the state of Florida, with the state of insurance and the way it's at. There may be an insurance company that may insure a roof that's 15 years old, but a lot of them right now are asking them to be replaced if they're 15 years old. So that's where we're at with the state of Florida.
No, and I agree. So the bulk of my business has always been New Jersey. That's where I moved down here from. And so we don't have the same weather extremes in New Jersey that you have here. We have a lot more frost and a lot more freezing issues. And being up on a roof when it's only 20 degrees is not fun. But given the extremes with the moisture, with wind, there's no reason why you can't spend a couple of hours in the process of getting your house to do the home inspection. What are the biggest, so as a newbie to Florida or a newer Florida resident, if I was buying a house, what are the things that are more likely to go wrong with a home in Florida that maybe don't in Connecticut, Wisconsin, New Jersey, New York?
Well, I can only speak in Florida because I haven't inspected up in those areas that you talked about, but they're all pretty typical as regards to, the roof and the roof life. Again, like you talked about here in Florida, the typical roof life, if you look at manufacturer's warranty, like my sister lives up in Jersey and her roof was 30 years old before she replaced it. My roof was 18 years old that was supposed to have a 50-year warranty with it. But in the state of Florida, 18 years old roof, you're pretty much pushing the limit as to what it is in that regards. And that is probably one of the biggest costs that you're going to have right now is going to be your roof. The big cost that we see a lot of concerns is electrical. Do you have the newer panels or the older panels or the hazardous panels, such as a Zinsco or a Federal Pacific or a Challenger panels? Those
you just gave me shivers. The Federal Pacific cost me $5,000 on a deal once because the client decided that we reduced the house to the price because they had a Federal Pacific junction box. We told the buyers that we're accepting your lower offer despite having higher offers because you've waived this part, not asking for this. And the first thing they asked for on the inspection was a brand new junction box because it was Federal Pacific and it's known to trip out it's known to short and not trip out. Oh, yes, I was so angry.
Yes, it is. And, and again, Gavin, there are still some insurance companies that will insure some of these panels, but there's very few of them. And just know that as the time goes on, the cost is, like you said, is going to be like $5,000. I just got new windows in my home through this My Safe Florida program, and windows that used to be 25 or 30,000 are now costing 50, 60,000. Electrical panel that used to be 2,500 is now 5,000 or more. So it's just the cost of the materials and the cost of the service that has gone up as well. So one of the things that we always always try to tell our clients is, if you do anything, please get a home inspection, because it's there to help protect you and protect your property going forward.
Okay, Eddie, I am definitely having you back on the show, definitely. But I have one more question before
Yes,
we disappear for today. If I'm about to list my home, would you recommend a pre-inspection prior to the listing, or would you wait for the buyer's inspector to do his thing?
I always recommend doing a pre-listing inspection, because then you know what's going to come up, and then you could probably put it on your disclosure and say, you know what, I may have a roof that's 18 years old, and but our price has adjusted to it. We don't like to see delays in the process, because I'm sure, Gavin, you've seen plenty of times where, you know, you'll have a seller come back to you, or excuse me, a buyer come back to you and say, hey, this is something that we found on the home inspection and we want it fixed. And then now you either negotiate to get it fixed, or you say no, and then the deal is canceled. Now you have to go through the showings again and go through the entire period. And sometimes those periods can take, another month or so. I've had it where I've inspected a home that was a flip, that was bank owned, where they needed a new electrical panel, and 2 months later I was asked to do the inspection on the same house, and they never changed the panel 2 months later. So that cost the bank 2 months of, you know,
Yeah,
being bank owned. So they had to pay for insurance, and then they had to pay, they still had the list property listed. And not only that, when they finally sold it, they agreed to change the panel in the first place. If they'd done that in the beginning, they would have saved the 2 extra months plus that other $10,000 that they
yeah,
had to
they
do
still
for
have
the
to pay the
electrical.
cost, but with taxes
Correct,
and insurance and things, yeah,
correct,
it's crazy.
correct,
Well, listen,
correct.
Eddie,
That's
it's
why.
been an absolute pleasure having you on today. Thank you very much for taking the time out of your busy schedule to speak with us.
Oh, pleasure is mine. I appreciate it, Gavin. Look forward to future
We're
ones.
definitely going to have you back on. Guys, that's all we have time for on the Ginger Realtor Show today. Again, Eddie from Waypoint, we'll make sure his contact information is placed under him when this goes live on Facebook, on YouTube. And we've got some shorts that are coming as well, so stay tuned for that. Stay tuned. Next Talking Point Tuesday will be next week. Actually, it might be the week after, because I'm heading off to the UK on vacation. Don't know
Well,
whether I've got somebody to do that beforehand. But for
safe
now, thanks for
travels.
stopping by.